Lights, camera, action. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Take 17, where every episode we slow down, take a 17, deep dive into conversation, and jump back right at it to inspire, provoke a thought, and celebrate stories that are worth telling. Today's episode is very interesting one, and we kick off a new series called Bharat Ki Awaaz, a silent campaign of India's forgotten legacy. The series is dedicated to spotlight artists, creators, and movements that are worth reviving and celebrating. There are some performances that just don't entertain, but they stick to us for lifelong. They transform you, and they linger, they question, and they gently remind us of where we come from. I recently came across this such a grandeur work called Samaya, a theatrical production by Emoticons Theatre. We're going deep dive into journey, their process, and their inspirations, and most importantly, their dedication to preserving Indian cultural roots and sharing such concepts with us. Thank you so much, Vinod sir and team, for joining us today. And let's start right at the beginning. How did Emoticons start for you? What was that starting journey of sharing your art and theatrical to the world?
Sure. So when I was in college, I was part of mime and street theater play, and that kind of. So when we were performing in college, I think there itself it started. I wanted to do a lot of these, and when you go on stage, when you look at the student enjoying what you perform, and every time you step onto the stage, and then they start clapping for you. So I felt there is something that I need to do. I need to keep coming back to the stage. So after my college, when I started working, I always wanted to go back to the stage and I wanted to perform, keep performing. I did take up a lot of workshops, I attended a lot of classes, and we also formed groups and did quite a few performances, like most likely to be a proscenium theatre format. But my heart was always longing to do something more to do with speechless theatre, more like mime.
Got it.
I think that's what my heart was always calling for. So and then I was trying to look for if there's any theatre groups which I can join, and specifically mime, and if there's anything that was happening around mime. But I couldn't find much where it was only a mime group as such in Bangalore back then. So then I thought, okay, why not just try it out?
Correct.
So then I thought, okay, let me just figure out if I can gather some people and then form a mime group and then start performing.
Right.
So back then there was something called as Short and Sweet Theatre Festival was happening in Bangalore. So we applied for it, and we thought, okay, it's a right platform to really test to see if people really get it and if they really appreciate an art form like this coming over and then participating in a festival. And then I just want to get the feedback and then see if this is the right thing to do. So that's how we started off, and we did come up with a very interesting play, and we went on to participate in Short and Sweet. Awesome. And we went till the last finals, and we also won one of the category over there. So that's that's when I realized, okay, this is going to work, and there's no stopping after that. We just went on with it.
So what is the idea behind speechless theatre? Is that something you found it? I'm sure you're writing your own stories here and presenting that. How do you come up with this idea of speechless theatre? I mean, because it is double the work without having even put a dialogue into any actor's mouth, right? So
yes. So for me, I was always fascinated when I look at Charlie Chaplin, Mr. Bean, and all of them. So so when it comes to theatre, also mime was very fascinating for me. And the thing is, when you don't have any word or dialogue to say, right? And how do you put across a play and still make it like a story to be presented to the audience? So that itself is a very fascinating thing to me. So for me, this looked like, okay, you have nothing. You don't have words, you don't have props, you don't have anything to present, but still you have one tool, that is the body. And if you can use that body and expressions to really put up any play, any story to the audience, I think that's a beautiful thing. You can create the world without anything.
Definitely.
So even if there's nothing, you can just create the entire world over there.
Definitely. And I think, if I'm not wrong, for the last 4 or 5 years, you guys been doing this?
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
Wow, 10
we
years.
We just completed 10 years this March.
Awesome. That's congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think 10 years with also Samaya
Yeah.
being the next big thing what you guys are
Yes.
planning.
So Samaya was planned for the
10th
10-year
year.
celebration.
Awesome, awesome. So coming to Samaya, if I'm not wrong again, Samaya means the harmony and the blend of nature, and Maya means illusion. So how did you, it's not like a very conventional play which any other theatrical production do, or any storyteller even comes across such a concept. What was the idea and intent behind Samaya?
Sure. So I was trying to think of what could be the next big concept that I can work on. Then I got this one key factor, which is quite common across in our life, which is everything. If you look around, it's cyclical in nature. It could be life energies. It could be the sun and the moon that comes back and forth, and the seasons that happens in cyclic. Even the time just moves like
Cycling,
goes on and on. The yugas especially just goes on and on. So one is that the cyclical nature of everything is what something I want to present. And also if you look at all of the cyclical nature, there is always something that starts with harmony, then there is some chaos and confusion, there's a lot of turbulence, and then some collapse, and then comes back to the initial form of harmony. It could be life energies. If you look at yugas, they all talk about the same thing. So that's a nature of life. That's how the nature is. That's how everything is. So now we kind of might start blaming on something, okay, on people, on leaders, politics, a lot of things. But if you just take a pause and then look back, then you realize, okay, that's how everything has meant to be. Like what we are today, I mean, because if you think, okay, why it's not anymore. I mean, the past was very beautiful, history was very nice, but it's people now it's not. It's different. That's because that's how everything is meant to be. So we just have to see how we can
How we place
just,
ourselves in that.
just understand the
cyclic
inner,
nature.
the deeper meaning of all of this, and just do the right thing at the right place. So that's how we came up with this. I picked up this concept of Samaya, and the word Samaya again, like you rightly said, Samaya means time, Sama is equality, and Maya is illusion. So that was the right concept to put this up over here. Okay, and then the next thing was, how do we present this? What form do I use to present this? Okay, I could have just used mime and physical theatre to do this, but I wanted something very differentiating from one form to the other, so that it can be beautifully presented.
Yeah.
And another most important thing is, how do I utilize this opportunity to also revive some of the art forms, or let people know about there are many other art forms that exist, and they get to know, okay, there is this so and so art form which is also a very beautiful art
Definitely.
form. Yeah, so that's how I got them all together.
Awesome. And especially, like you're saying, reviving these art forms is very important for, like, especially my generation, because we forget how even India used to dance to music before.
Yeah.
So one thing that really stood out to me is how you guys also took this very different in nature to even present. If not for even speechless theater, it was also in the dance, the story that you guys have created around, and the concept that you done. So what do you think it's so important for our generation, or this modern life that we are so-called living a lifestyle? Why is it important to engage in this type of theatrical story?
Yeah, so I can put this in two different ways. So one, to be involved and take part in theatrical aspects, right? So that is one. Another is to come watch and enjoy and know about it. So there are two different things. So if any of the art forms, not just specifically theatre, but any of the art forms, it could be theatre, it could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be any of the art forms, or even painting or a craft. So I think I would suggest that if anybody and everybody should actually pick up one of these and then work on it, because it will keep you more alive, I feel, because you're keeping your creative brains active. You're trying to do something for your own self, and you have one mode or a medium to express yourself, or at least pass on the message to the rest of the world. Okay, you can do a lot of things with this, and I think it's a beautiful way of expressing your own self.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I would say I think it's one good thing if everybody are somehow involved and engaged in any of the art forms. And for people to be aware and come watch and then experience these kind of art forms, again, that's also a way that you get a lot of perspectives. You get a lot of perspectives.
Definitely.
You get a lot of knowledge, awareness. You get to know something different, differently said from different people by different people. You also start thinking and you also start connecting a lot of dots, and then you also know, okay, I've been thinking this certain way, but there is also another perspective somebody can tell me and give me in a different art form.
Right.
And so I think that's another beautiful thing, that if you are actually going and watching any of these performances.
Awesome. That's, I think, how you put it is also very important, because I think, and like I was talking to your team, it was not only a story that you guys were telling, it's also giving every audience a different perspective and a take to the story of how it personally relates to themselves. And that's very fascinating that people are looking so deep into even audience, how they take up this art form. And I'm so glad you guys are doing something like this. Right. So coming to my next question, how is it must be very challenging to put up such a grandeur. So how did the work start? How did you guys start bringing in each? Because generally not many people are familiar with these art forms. So how did you start nurturing everyone into this?
Yeah, so it was that was one of the toughest challenge that we had, because mostly if you see any of the dramatics or dance drama or even theatre were using a lot of movements. So if there are multiple art forms, multiple movements, so usually they have different set of people learning one thing, right? So they assign, okay, 5 of them will learn Kalaripayattu, 5 of them will learn Yakshagana, and then they'll bring them one by one after the other, and then they'll present the play, right? And you have enough time, and also they can focus on one thing.
Correct.
So this was one experiment that I want to try. Also, it was a challenge, but at the same time, I just really want to do this, is to have all of them learn all of the art forms. So we spent close to 4.5 months to put up the entire play. That is also because each one of them had to learn Kalaripayattu, Yakshagana, Mohiniyattam, plus mime and movement theatre.
Correct.
So they had to learn all of this. So I also, thankfully, I found really good trainers for each one of this. For Mohiniyattam, we got Vashini, who's also a PhD in Mohiniyattam, and we got Priyanka Mohan, who's very well known in the field of Yakshagana, and so from generations they've been doing Yakshagana.
Wow.
And she's been brilliant in Yakshagana, and she was one of the women who trained us on Yakshagana. And Kalaripayattu is trained by Srirag, so he's also been doing, he's one of the wonderful fine artists in Kalaripayattu. So he took a lot of time to train these my team in Kalaripayattu. So I took up mime and movement theatre, but it's kind of a teamwork and collaborative approach. But then yeah, so kudos to the team, because they had to, I mean, have a lot of patience and then keep training hard every day to get us what we have today.
It's very self-satisfactory when you learn something and you're also able to present it to the audience.
Yeah.
And see that satisfaction in the
Yes.
audience eyes. So what was that moment for you when you felt satisfied after the show?
Oh, that was very satisfying, like you said, because you put months of hard work, and I mean, also for people also, there are 15 of us, so they have to always be coming back for practicing. They might have a lot of personal things to do, but there were a lot of sacrifices that was given. But end of the day, when you come and when you see the audience appreciating, and when they are saying, okay, they are also talking the same language, what we want to give them, and they're also telling about the same thing.
Correct.
And they're happy about what they saw, and they're appreciating about the efforts, and they see, okay, it was one of the brilliant story. So when we get those feedbacks, it's very satisfying, and we feel, okay, it's worth what we do for all of these months.
Awesome. So, and on a personal note, how has this production changed for you? Because this is very different from what you guys have been doing. How did this personally change you?
Yeah, so it was so this is the first time I collaborated with the other artist to bring in something.
So it was a learning for you also.
It was a learning for me as well. So I was always trying to use mime and movement theatre itself to present any kind of story, and that has been successful as well.
Got it.
We have tried both tragedy as well as comedy and all of that. But this time I thought, okay, let's take a more collaborative approach, and I think that kind of helps. I mean, it was a big learning for me. I learned new art forms and how those can actually bring in a lot of flavors in the movement and actually can elevate the entire play depending on where you place them in the entire play. So that's one very positive and nice experience that I've had.
Wow, that's awesome. So all the very best. And honestly, this conversation and spending a lot of time with their team behind the camera has been such a privilege. And I think what moved me the most was the deepest respect that they had to share this story and this concept to the world. And I hope this reaches to the most number of people, this story and the concept that they have come through Samaya and everything that they do in the future. And thank you for not only creating Samaya, but also nurturing this art form. And like you said, I would love to know how you guys later with the team, how they learned these art forms and how they went through all of these areas. So through Bharat Ki Awaaz, our new campaign, our aim is to bring those voices back to conversation and get such similar stories that are happening around the world and country. I hope today's episode leaves you inspired and gives you a new outlook to what your passion could lie towards. And thank you, Emoticons, for what you guys do, and hope you do come to Hyderabad, and wishing you all the best. Until next time, take 17. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's been wonderful talking to you and having such lovely conversations, and really good conversing and knowing about you and the work that you've been doing. I also wish all the best for all the initiative that you've been doing. I know you do a lot of things. I wish everything reaches a lot of good heights and then you reach success at the same time. Thank you for spending time and then having me in your podcast, and it's a privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.